We will start the board meeting. If we can please rise for Danny's I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Nero, if you could please take roll.
Tyler Bates. Here. Laura Chisler.
Here.
Jack Dawson. Here. Johnson.
Here.
Terry Loud.
Here. Now a moment of silence. Okay, if I can please have approval for the agenda minutes from last time, or I'm sorry, for this agenda. Motion to move.
I'll move.
Laura moves. Tyler seconds. All in favor? Dr. Sosolinek, recognitions?
Yeah, the best part of the evening is to celebrate our students and staff. And the month of May, we really take time to pause and to celebrate staff who are retiring and or working throughout the school district. So today we are going to celebrate staff retirements and our cafeteria staff. And I'd like for Mrs. Pierce to come on up and start with the cafeteria staff.
Thank you. Okay. Next week marks the beginning of my 11th year at South Range, and the moments I've had the privilege of sharing with the incredible staff here tonight and our Raider students have been truly special. If you asked students what their favorite part of the school day is, many will quickly answer lunchtime. Of course, having time to eat and socialize with friends is something they look forward to, but after witnessing the daily interactions between our students and cafeteria staff, I know that is only part of the reason. Every day, I see the care and kindness these women show our students. I see elementary students running in for their daily hugs at breakfast and lunch. I've watched apples and oranges be peeled and cut for students, sandwich crust removed, and lunch items carefully separated so nothing touches, all to make each child feel comfortable and cared for. Every woman here goes above and beyond for our students as though they were their own children or grandchildren. I feel incredibly thankful and blessed to work alongside this group every single day. They are truly here for the students and do everything possible to ensure the food is not only safe and appealing, but also prepared with genuine care and love. As cheesy as this sounds, it's the truth. I would personally like to thank Julie, Lori, Jeannie, Rose, Patty, Carol, Rachel, Danny, Maggie, and Jody for your patience, teamwork, dedication, organization, and the love you show our students every day. Thank you for making lunchtime one of the brightest parts of our students' day. And then I'm here to present a little certificate of recognition. So if everyone wants to come up, is that okay?
You come up and you're going to stand right in front, and then we
They
get
were
a
hoping to get pictures.
Rose, I want you to raise your hand.
Little big mouth.
Okay, Danny Hadley, Lori Strabula, Julie Binder, Carol Apicella, Rose Baylaw,
Thank you all.
Jody Hanna, Jeannie Schneider, it's so funny seeing everyone with their hair down. They all look so different. Rachel Perry.
Round of applause for our officers.
Can we make 2 rows?
Go ahead. That's a good idea.
Are you in?
All right, ladies, right here.
All right, 1, 2, 3. There we go.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Continuing with the celebrations, we have a few retirements this year, decades of service to our Raiders, and I would like to first have Mrs. Hammond come on up and just say a few words about.
She's not here.
Say a few words for our driver, and then just to let the audience know, a few years ago we started something small, and it's just a small token of appreciation, and it states, you know, the person's name, the years of service, never forget you're the piece that made the difference, thank you. So, yeah.
This is for Donna Evans, who I worked for years and years with. She's retiring this year. She was always I must have worked probably 13 years, 14 with her as a regular driver with her, and then as her supervisor for the last 7 years. Donna has always been very dependable. I never had to worry if the kids were in good hands. She's truly been a very important part for the transportation team. So we're gonna miss her. She drove Liz's kids for years, and yeah, she's gonna be missed. I wish her all the best in her new chapter in her life, and I hope all goes well for her.
Thank you, Brenda. And Mr. Mavis with a few elementary retirements.
We have 2 huge pieces of the elementary retiring this year. The first is Kim Masucci. I've worked with Mrs. Masucci for over 20 years, ever since my first year here at South Range. My youngest son, Jake, I had the pleasure of being in her class. After 37 years of inspiring young minds with kindness, patience, and love, your legacy will live on in the hearts of countless children whose lives you have touched. It was pretty special this past Friday. WKBN came in, if anybody saw it, and did a story on Kim. It was just great seeing all of the comments of old, former students, posting on Facebook and on our South Range page and Kim and I have been talking all week. Just a lot of names that have been coming through that Kim had not heard in a long time. On that story, Kim said, back in 1989 when she started at South Range was the best kept secret. And Mrs. Masucci is truly unique. You don't find people these days that start their careers in kindergarten, last over 4 decades, and are finishing their careers in kindergarten. Some people might call you crazy, but you truly are unique and a treasure, and you just can't replace a Kim Masucci. Kim said in that story that I just hope they remember having so much fun talking about her kiddos, that they didn't realize they were learning today, because that's really been my goal since year 1, and I'm still doing that today. So just want to say congratulations to Kim on her outstanding career, all of your accomplishments, and hope you have a wonderful retirement.
step over here.
Sure.
Got one more.
So also retiring this year, Cindy Maynard. And Cindy's been with us for a long time, not just in the elementary, but of course also at the high school. And Cindy's been in education now for 42 years. I've worked with Cindy now for the last 10 years. Cindy, for the last 42 years, your compassion, guidance, and unwavering support has helped generations of students grow with confidence, kindness, courage, leaving a lasting impact that will never be forgotten. And this year, Cindy was recognized for her 42 years as the Mahoning Valley Educator of the Year for 2026 for South Range. And that was quite an honor that we were pleased to recognize Cindy for. And Cindy had a quote in there where she said, "I believe education is one of life's greatest responsibilities and privileges we hold as educators. Children are deeply important to me, and I approach my work with understanding that every child deserves to be valued, understood, and supported. I strive to meet children where they are academically, socially, and emotionally. Each child comes with unique experiences, strengths, and challenges, and I try my best by recognizing and respecting those differences." And even up through today, Cindy still on her second to last day was doing that all day long when she could have been just phoning it in and enjoying her time with the staff. And she spent her day pretty much one-on-one with kids and watching video with me, trying to solve problems and working her butt off all day to do what's best for the kids in our building. And I love working with Cindy each and every day. But one of Cindy's greatest strengths is just the respect and rapport that you built with the students and the parents and your colleagues over your 42 years in education. And so again, Cindy, congratulations to you on all of your accomplishments over the years, and congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you very much.
This is your plaque, and this is from Larry up here. I can help you. There you go.
Let's get a picture right in front. Oh, see.
Can we get to stay in the middle? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Steve.
Congratulations.
Before we move on to public participation, I just wanted to make, we're gonna say anything?
So no, I was just going to say thank you again. One more round of applause for our cafeteria and our retiring staff. In the meeting with recognitions, if you would rather go to dinner or continue with the concert or anything else, this is a good time to exit. We're going to continue with the regular agenda items. So thank you for coming, and we will give you a minute to exit out.
Okay.
Sorry.
With the middle school concert going on, Ms. Johnson might have to leave, but she will come back right after concert. We have some of our students and children singing "Don't Worry Miss." Public participation, I just want to remind speakers, we're limited to 2 minutes, no more than 15 minutes total. And if we have anybody, please state your name and where you're from.
Rich Renchak, North Lima. Last month's meeting, we had a rather contentious discussion back and forth about open enrollment. And as that affects the school's finances substantially, I came in before this meeting to find out how many kids we were going to accept into kindergarten for open enrollment next year. Because at the last meeting, I was told that it was in the contract that you couldn't take more than 22 kids in a kindergarten class, so that's why we had to keep 3 teachers. Fine. Now I'm being told we're taking it up to 25 kids in a kindergarten class. So I would like to know, one, why we're doing that, because we keep stating that kindergarten is so important, the smallest class size possible is what we should strive for. And I wouldn't argue that. I think the more individualized attention a child can get, the better off they're going to be. But now we not only have exceeded the 22 student limit that I believe Mr. Bates said was the restriction why we had to keep 3 teachers last meeting, but we're adding 3 onto that. And this, at the same time, we're going to have a young teacher who's, I don't know how much experience she has, but I'm assuming not much. So why are we overburdening our staff by adding more open enrollment children? I'd like to know if the 5 of you agree with that, don't agree with that, or why we're permitting that to happen. Because I, as a taxpayer who 60% of what I pay you guys in property tax, and it's substantial, goes to fund this place. I find it offensive that we keep letting people in who do not live in this district and do not have to pay my taxes. And especially when that's going to be a detriment to the kids that are entering kindergarten next year. I think it's ridiculous, so I'm hoping you will continue to advocate for that 22 limit that Tyler was so fond of last meeting and not let in the 25 per class that they are proposing. Thank you.
Anybody else? Agenda items?
That was not the contract, but the administrative guidelines. That would be on me for misspeaking on behalf of the contract. The terminology was mixed up. It's the administrative guidelines that allow for discretion. So that was what was agreed upon, just for clarification.
Moving on to communications.
Yeah.
Dr. Sapolnik.
So communications, I'll share with the board. We have several communications. First, I'd just like the board to know, once we get to consent agenda items, after the consent, we do have some new hires here in the audience, and I would like for the new hires to come up and shake each of your hand, just so you could put a face with some of these new dynamic, phenomenal individuals from coaching, which super excited that coach is going to be taking over to teaching kindergarten. So very excited. A couple other the new hires, they're just that, like one's out of state actually doing a presentation right now, and the other one is working. So just really, really exciting. So just take a moment for that. I'd like to first start by saying congratulations to Harper Pitts. Harper was picked for the Ohio State Veterinary Buckeye Camp. There were over 200 applicants, only 50 chosen at the high school, and a special shout out to Mrs. Berkey for encouraging her to apply for this real career readiness workforce opportunity. Continuing with student celebrations, I'd just like to communicate with our Raider Way student performance. Congrats to a middle school student who went to the Power of the Pen. Lily went, we don't know her ranking right now, but we know she placed out of thousands of people participated up in the top 500. We just don't know what the final ranking is. I'm waiting for Mrs. Rakita to let us know about that. Also, spring athletics is underway. The last I checked, the girls softball team was up. I could check here in a second, but they were up 3-0. They're playing. That's why Mr. Zolik is not here right now. He's covering that event. Baseball team tomorrow, Coach.
Yep.
And good luck to them. Also, our middle school boys track had an outstanding year. They won the Mahoning County track meet, the South Range Invitational, and actually a couple of the relays finished second and third in the state. We actually had a top 15 discus placer, so just dynamite for our student performance goal. And continue with student performance, next I would like Mrs. DeCivio to present work she and our math team have been working on for advanced learning opportunities. Thank you, Jacqueline, for being here.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to update the board and everybody here on the new laws under advanced learning opportunities for math, and we have a lot of math teachers here today too. So just a couple things to go over, and I don't know, Jean, if we can project it a little larger. Is that possible to view the show? So Ohio Revised Code is at the top. There is a law that the state is mandating that students that score advanced or higher on the Ohio State test have to be offered advanced learning opportunities where those are already happening in a school. So I'm going to kind of walk us through first what the law says, and then kind of where we're at in our South Range process of looking at data to determine what that's going to look like here and what the changes are going to be. So it is a mandatory provision. Districts offering these programs, they must provide them to students who score an advanced level. Some of us that look at data, that's a number 5, but many of you that look at reports for your kids would see that as advanced on that OST, the Ohio State test. Course specifics, these would exceed grade level standards. They could be up to 2 grade levels beyond that current math grade. And this is all triggered by student data. We're just looking at data. We're looking at, is this a good fit for the kids, and how that's going to look here at South Range. It's going to look different in every district. But again, we're going back to Ohio law, which does mandate those opportunities be offered to kids. Next slide. So again, just a little review on the district requirements. This is going to be effective next school year, so the 2026-2027 school year. Districts offering advanced learning opportunities to some students have to now offer them to all students who score, again, that advanced or that 5 on the Ohio State test. So some exceptions, it's not required for students scoring below advanced. That would be accomplished or lower, a 4 or lower. But some districts may choose to offer that to kids. That's something that we might be looking at too, depending on what course offerings that we're seeing once we get the data and really comb through everything. And it's not required if the district does not provide such opportunities or courses. So there's some grade levels that students take that grade level math. There's not an advanced opportunity for any of the students. They would just continue with that at this point. So some examples, just so as I'm talking through and I'm saying advanced learning opportunities, and again, math teachers, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is all coming from the state's ideas. There's many other ideas too. Again, they would be data-driven enrichment, so decisions for kids based on where they're at in their specific math area. And Bowles Math has many subcategories that it's divided into, so it could be offered in different areas for different kids. Compacted instruction, a model where students complete full current grade levels plus part of another grade level. That's currently something that's happening in the 6th grade here. Above grade level courses, some students can take grade level courses accelerated at the grade level or beyond. And double enrollment, the practice of doubling up or taking 2 different math courses concurrently. So those are just some examples. There could be more. There's many more that the state even gives examples of, but just some general ideas, so you know what that means. Opting out, so parents do have the opportunity to opt out. The district has to notify all parents who scores at 5, that advanced or higher, that they'll be offered this opportunity. However, some of us, we know our kids, we have different maybe ideas of where they're at currently, or maturity level, or just that particular year. They are allowed to opt out in writing to the district. And this is a pamphlet from the state really to help the parents decide, like, is this something good for my kids? So this pamphlet has a lot of good questions that parents could, reflect and talk with their family about if that's something that they're considering. And again, I really like that Ohio's Math Vision, because we're trying to expand opportunities for all kids in math, and not just so someday they become one particular thing, but for real life experiences, for career exploration. It all ties in, and the state is really pushing career exploration, so that kind of comes into play too in this. So currently, as I said, this is where South Range is at. We're in a process right now. We don't have a final answer to come out and say, because the data did just come out recently. We're combing through everything. We're looking at what our kids are scoring, what we're doing. So currently we're looking at 5th grade OST scores, and we have some projections up here. These are not the current numbers. These are just projections from other years, just so we could kind of prepare ourselves. So once we look at those scores, we determine how many kids would be offered those advanced learning opportunities, and then the other kids that would score a 4 and under who may be in general math. And again, that is something that can be considered for students. And then if you look at that 54 kids advanced learning, from there, we do start an acceleration program, which many people might be familiar with. So we would then decide who would continue on that accelerated pathway and who would be offered advanced learning opportunities, college prep courses, kind of those types of offerings. And we're building right now a rubric. Again, the state wants us to go back to that data-driven decision-making, and that's what that would be. And these are just a couple more slides, and Dean, you could kind of go through these next two. We've just been playing around with what this looks like for different kids, because there's different pathways for each child. Some kids might encounter this score in 6th grade or 7th grade or 8th grade. So we're just projecting what that could look like so then we can have an actual course offerings and numbers of kids. So, and thank you, like I said, the work is continuing and we'll keep you updated, but I really just wanted to make sure we understood the state's law and their stance and how we're working through that right now to really, again, go back to that vision from the state to offer the best opportunities for all of our students. So, thank you.
Jack, is this something we're offering from 5th through 12?
So we, again, going back to the law, we start to offer those advanced opportunities in 6th grade.
Sixth
So
grade,
we're
okay.
looking right now this year to where we are offering it. That could be something in the future, but right now we're gonna follow the law and what it says,
Yeah.
and determine, what that's gonna look like in 6th grade.
Okay. Thank you.
So like a kid, normal, what how it was, like they qualified in 5th grade, they get advanced in 6th grade. So now you're saying like there might be a kid that didn't qualify in 5th grade, but then could qualify in 6th grade and now, okay.
And there could be
So what
kids,
happens because they missed half that curriculum?
that's kind of what we're looking at because we're gonna build in, you're a math teacher, so you know, like, we're building multiple data points so that we put kids on the right track. Because the last thing we want is to accelerate somebody and then, oh my gosh, that wasn't a good fit. So
Yeah.
now a kid that maybe wouldn't be, like, it would be a good fit for them to take that advanced opportunity because that's gonna help them along the way. Whereas that accelerated opportunity, they just might not be there yet.
Okay.
So we're building a rubric currently that's gonna help make sure that kids are in a class that matches their needs and their advanced levels.
Okay.
And this could all change based on legislation that's out there that is suggesting students that score a 4 or 5. This whole model was based on students that score a 5. There's legislation out there to say, well, we want kids who score 4s and 5s. It makes it very
So is that 2 programs then?
challenging.
It would
For
be-
4 or 5?
It would be 2 opportunities, it could be for the state, you have to offer those advanced opportunities. So advanced could be acceleration, advanced could just be those advanced opportunities within those math courses. And then going back to some students are in that path of general math. So there could be those like 3 different offerings at a grade level or more, depending on the school and what the needs are of the kids, a lot of that. So right now that's what we're combing through to make sure that we're offering the best possible choices that match kids' needs because acceleration sounds great, but some kids, they're just not there yet and they need to fill in their math knowledge so they can get there.
Mr. Frenchek has a question for you. I'm allowing it because
Yeah.
with this,
Well, if you go back a slide, it said 4th grade, you had that,
So
there's an inordinate
we were-
number of children that are advanced. It's a huge number.
Yes, we were looking at projections going back to 4th grade because that was helping us know how many courses a teacher might have to teach our advanced offerings. So that year was 2 years ago and there were 96 students that were advanced and also possibly, what is the number? I'm sorry, I can't see, it's like fuzzy. Yeah, oh, that's 96 students total that took the OST. Of those 96 kids, 54 kids were advanced. So now we have to build courses to meet the state law for those advanced kids.
Well, my question is, and I know this happened, 2 of my children did and a couple other kids, after 4th grade, if they tested advanced, they could take 5th and 6th grade math together.
So
And I know that was an option in the state then where you could double up courses. So
currently
why would
South
you look at
Range,
doing that next year with those children?
South Range offers it starting in 6th grade at this point. So we only have to offer it for 6th grade based on the state law.
Yeah, but why wouldn't we offer it to those kids starting as early as 4th grade if they're showing that kind of promise?
And that's something that could be looked at, as we're building into this and trying to see what this is gonna look like. It takes a while to build those programs, get curriculum set. That's something that could come down the pipeline, so.
great, thank you, Jackie.
So
Thank you.
thank you, Jacqueline. Continuing, as you heard Jacqueline say, the state last night in the last few days have released preliminary OST scores. I know we were up 1A, 2 a.m., 1 a.m. Looking at some of these scores, and I must say the scores are pretty impressive. We have some of the highest scores in the history of the district, especially when we look at transitioning the old OAAs, go back almost 20 years, where it was paper pencil, some of the older assessments to now the online, the rigor, the text complexity. The students are reading really challenging content. And it's really interesting to see how well our students are performing. Our 3-year trend data is remarkable across the district. And though we will find areas to get better every day, I'd be remiss if I don't thank the teachers, the aides, the tutors, the principals, drivers, cooks, secretaries, custodians, Mrs. DeCimio and her team and all the work they've done to come together to collaborate and to implement the Raider Way. I mean, once you start to see some of these scores, you're gonna be like, whoa. And then it's a good problem when you have 60 kids ready for advance. It's like, whoa, you know, so it's just showing the hard work of all the effort that we put into instruction, curriculum, and assessment.
You took my kudos.
Oh.
I was talking to Dr. Zapolnik this morning, and I just wanted to congratulate on the preliminary data of the test scores that he shared with me this morning, that our students and teachers just excelled beyond the past test scores. And I just wanted to give a shout out to the students and the teachers and the administrators who made that possible, and for your hard work, and congratulations. And we'll have more of that information on the scores next board meeting?
Within the next month, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still.
And they'll become available to us then?
They will go public by the end of June. They will be in the parent portal. And then I usually come up with a visual, but it's still preliminary until the state releases it in September.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's a really cool day.
That was great news.
Yes. One question I have though, with this advanced math changes, does that cause any staffing issues? Are we gonna run into any challenges where we have to maybe move some people around, get creative? Like, I don't know what that does to Mrs. Ware and to you to cover those needs.
It's definitely a puzzle. I think we're okay. Go ahead,
I mean, that's part of the consideration with, I know Mr. Franchek, you were asking about offering it sooner, is we want to make sure that we're pacing ourselves right and having the right kind of staffing available. So I think that's a great question. That's why we're looking at the rubric, the numbers, and making sure that, you know, we have the right people in the right spots teaching those, and then growing from there if that's something that's possible. That's all. I mean, we're trying to get better every day. So, you know, what do we look at next? So I think those are great questions.
Yeah, because that was actually, I guess I wasn't aware of that. That's very surprising how the percentage that are qualifying for the advanced curriculum. I mean, that's great. So
it's fascinating. And last but not least, just reporting out on our Raider Way safety and resources. At this time, I'd like Dean just to go over Chromebook. And last year, you know, we did some things differently with technology, and Dean was going to report out on Chromebooks, as well as two-way communication in final forms.
So, and Raptor. So I actually have the slide up so last year we did the technology initiative, kicked it off, and charged a little bit of a fee to help cover those initial expenses and some repairs. As you can see, it's working. In 2024, we were near 36%. That's total intake. So we have a tracking mechanism. So everything that comes into us, what's wrong with it, we record damage. We invoice if necessary, depending on the repairs needed. So that's total amount of intakes that we received. Out of that total amount, 36% had damaged screen in 2024. In 2025, it was 42%. And now we can see in 2026, and again, July, that's a little misnomer because we did this data before the end of the school. Now we have 2 weeks left, so that could tweak up a little bit, but we're down to 22.4% due to the protected devices that the students have from 7th to 12th grade. They are working. So, and because that's most of the damage. And screen repair also is hinge damage, you know, shell damage, all that falls under that category, because once the structure's damaged, basically the screen is shot too. Also on that, the Raptor, we're kicking off under safety security. So this is the badge alert system overview. We'll have a console and we'll be able to triangulate anyone's location in the district with using mobile app for communication and physical badge. Teachers will have these physical badges, teachers, coaches, anywhere in the campus. And when there will be like a tiered alert system. If it's, I need just some assistance, it might be a 3-tap and you get assistance. If it's a panic situation, 7 taps and we know that it could go straight to 911, police could be dispatched to that location. They will put devices inside our school. These little antennas and these little, they call them pucks, will be spread throughout the district. Minimal, the installation itself isn't very invasive. Those devices can be plugged into our network, the one with the antenna on there, and the pucks can go throughout the facility, and basically they'll triangulate the location. So that's the Raptor, and that's kind of in progress. That's going to be this summer's big project. Final Forms, making good progress with that as well. Obviously behind the scenes, that's more software oriented. So I'm working with the cabinet members and Paula to integrate our software. That'll be the next step. At the end of this month, we have another meeting, and we'll finalize that for next year and be on Final Forms, which we think, for the most part, I think we're the only school in Mahoning County and then maybe the Tri-County area that doesn't use it. So that'll be a plus. And lastly, we're closing in on communications with Finalsite. They have a tool we're going to use. It's called HQComm. That will replace our TEC communications. And it's going to be helpful because it is a branded mobile app that Jared could use mobilely to communicate. And it's the way it's built for the website. So content that goes out through the website will be able to receive. You won't get a limit restriction. You won't get a cannot send restriction. We'll get the same reports, but it's basically the way it's tied in. It's better because we are already a Finalsite customer with the website, so it's kind of integrated that way. We're also looking at slowly rolling out the next phase of that would be their two-way communication plan, which would take place next year. That would replace things that are commonly used in the classroom, such as Remind coaches use and Class Dojo. I think I'm saying that right, Classroom Dojo. And this will be an all-encompassing tool where we bring teachers into this Finalsite eco place where everything is there and it's a one-stop shop, which I think is where we want to head with our communications ultimately. So.
Sorry if I missed this, but with the tiered system, who is the first person on the other side when you report a need based off the tier?
We could decide that, like a resource officer could be
So if
nurse.
you're clicking 7 times, does it bypass the first tiered individual? Like who's the first person on the ground that's going to get notified?
If it's a 7-click, I mean, I would even talk about it, but I think it's everyone plus 911. I think that is going to go, yes, that means someone's down, someone needs immediate help, or it's a lockdown situation where it's security awareness and it's
Okay, thank you.
yeah.
And that's every staff member and every employee who works here will have one of those?
Yes.
And that was part of the NRA grant, correct?
Yeah.
That we got, I don't know what I can't remember, was it 16?
I can't really remember all the specifics, but I mean, it was, because we were looking at another system, and it was the way their structure was, it would be beyond what the grant would cover. But when we started talking with Raptor, hey, they said not only did they beat that price by a lot, we also have Raptor already in our schools. So we're actually saving money because they said we could treat you as one school building. Right now they're treating us as 3. So we're going to bring those databases together and consolidate a bit, which is going to save us money on what we already get through Raptor, which is our visitor management system.
So I know we, at one point in time, it's been a while ago, we looked at the cost of this and, we got the grant. So I know it's worthwhile, looking at, God forbid, you never want to have to use this, but we knew that it was something that in today's day and age, you have to have something in place. And I just want to thank you for all for going through that. I know that wasn't easier, and it's not easy picking a system because there's always modifications and there's always like little things, intricacies that have to be worked on. And I know you've been on top of that, so thanks for all that. You're making it safer, so I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. And I know that one a little longer, but a lot of communication. We can go all night with updating. There's a lot happening in the ecosystem of school, and that's all I have, communication.
Okay. Any questions moving on to consent agenda items? Any questions on the minutes from the last board meeting? Mr. Nero, now for the financial report.
Just because I know the April ones, if you guys have any questions, I know previously they talked about updating the forecast in May, kind of push it back to June, and kind of talk about treasury notes, just trying to get as much data as possible for the fiscal year. It's a lot of what your expenses is, just timing of invoices and stuff like that, to get a better idea. Because the August forecast is so early in the fiscal year, just to help, with that transition. So, if there's any questions, or, then the fiscal year board meeting, just want to start putting on your guys' heads. I was looking around like June 25th, June 26th, if you can. As I know with vacations and stuff, just to start planning so I can know when I need to start cutting things off for the fiscal year. So.
Okay.
That's all I have. Questions?
Any questions? Dr. Zapolnik, personnel?
Yeah, so the next motion is to rescind Brenda's retirement. She found out when she found out her own personal situation. She's rescinding. She's coming back to work. She'll be back with us. So that's the next motion to amend her contract because she's coming back to work. So that's what item D is. Item E is approve the following staff member for sabbatical leave, which is in our negotiated agreement. And as soon as the board approves this tonight, tomorrow, I plan to post this to get a long time for 1 year, 6th grade math teacher, which 6th grade math did extremely well on the OST, some of the historic scores there. Looking at item F, motion to approve the following certified hires, certified teachers. We do have 2 here with us. Miss Katie is here and Miss Gianna is here. And you can see who they are replacing. As well as Ms. Custer and Dr. McMillan. Moving to item G, motion to approve the following certified staff transfers. So the whole process of open positions and teachers wanting to go to certain areas. We're going to miss Katie from kindergarten going to 2nd grade, but we are extremely excited to have Gianna and Katie here. Brock going for Donnie, and Jody moving to title. David Rock going to Mr. Algretto, and then Brooke Stewart going from 0.5 to 0.6. This position allows some physical education, a lot of STEM education to occur for our K-12 STEM focus, really focusing on middle school and high school STEM for the next 2 years, but kicking it off with Brooke and Steve. I appreciate all the hard work you've done to make that happen. We hit 3 birds with 1 stone by doing this, so very excited to get that up and running for the future. Looking at item H, this is itinerant sub. Item I, Patrick's been with us for a very, very long time, moving him for assistant custodian to custodian. That's within the agreement that we wrote up. Dean, was that last year or 2 years ago? After so many successful evaluations and so forth, we can move custodians. Item J, just a lot of staff summer help starting in this summer and then moving throughout the school year. A lot of bus garage, they really focus the month of June to get ready for bus inspection in July, and then it's pretty much downtime in the bus garage up until August when Brenda comes back, and then the drivers then coming back in September. Looking at item K, motion to approve the following staff for Success by 6. Again, thank you, Mr. Matus, for working with the staff members with the United Way for Success by 6. Looking at item L, a lot of supplementals. So the next couple motions are current supplementals for this spring season. You can see ticket managers and so forth. And then supplementals for next year, and this all goes with our negotiated contract of how we have to post and go through supplementals. Now, we will have more supplementals moving forward. Some coaches, their pupil activity permit expired, and I told them I wasn't going to put them on the board agenda until I have their active information. Sometimes it's hard to chase coaches down once they're coaching, so we want to make sure they have all updated information. So that's item M. Looking at item N, this is a non-bargaining unit member for his additional 2% that we thank Coach for all the years of service here at South Range coaching baseball. Item O is extended school year services, which are special education students that need specially designed instruction for a few days throughout the summer months to maintain their improvement. So these are just special education providers for that. Item P are current tutors. So the month of May is field trip month, and it's also staff members. You know, Frontline's doing a great job, but we all often have all hands on deck, where even the superintendent will substitute if need be. So this is getting all hands on deck with our 2 other tutors in case we needed to get them to sub. Looking at Q, motion to approve the following staff members for compensation work performed during the school year. We thank Katie for interviewing, so that was one, and Jim Terry helping Brenda in the garage. Brenda asked Jim to go do a couple items on those days at that hourly rate there. Looking at item R, motion to approve the following extended supplemental contracts. These are all within the negotiated agreement. And I did want to talk about the MOU there with Family and Consumer Science. So when we negotiated last year, that was one area that it says something different in the contract. And then after the fact, this sometimes happens with negotiations because you talk about a lot of stuff. After the fact, it was like, oh, this position actually does X, Y, and Z. So we then did an MOU to say this supplemental or these extended days will occur because this person does do X, Y, and Z. It just was one of those things that when we negotiate, I think if you guys remember who were part of the negotiating party, we talked about that as well. So we wrote an MOU to make sure that that staff member gets those days because they've been doing that work. It's just overlooked in negotiations.
Any questions?
Yes. Looking at section F. What was the order of the hires that they came in for accepting the positions?
Order of hires.
Order of acceptance of the posted position. So it was Ms. Taylor first and the third one came up.
It was, yes. Yep, that was it.
So I'm sure Mrs. I'm going to pronounce this incorrectly. Guerriere, how do you say it?
Guerriere.
I'm sorry. Although I'm sure you're an incredibly qualified individual and will do a fantastic job. My personal opinion is I do think we potentially are missing an opportunity to actually reduce class size, reduce student to teacher ratio by jumping up to 3 teachers. I think we could also be looking at cost savings by staying at 2 and creating a titration valve for the influx of volume of students coming into the school from kindergarten at the set. And I think keeping it at 2 and looking retrospectively to what we used to do in the past, potentially every other day, or half days would potentially take us from, because I'm assuming they're gonna have aides, roughly going 23 in a class with 3 at 70 in the grade acceptance. By knocking it down to 2, going every other day, that puts you a little higher in each class, but if you go every other day, it's gonna take you to 8 to 1 kids to adult versus 11 to 1. So my opinion is, I don't know if we vote, I don't know if it's consent, but I guess for consent for that higher, mine is no.
Yeah, and again, I think that's why you guys employ me. I have to sit and take qualitative as well as quantitative data to look at all this information, especially with the trend data. And those are all the factors that we went in. I think when Steve and I sat and talked to the kindergarten teachers, talked to parents, talked to first grade teachers, every other day wasn't an option. It just simply wasn't with the curriculum. Jacqueline's explaining
Are there differences in outcomes past early education with doing every other day versus half day?
Are there differences in South Range outcomes?
Performance past 4th grade.
Past 4th grade, national data.
Correct. Level 1 evidence.
National data, it's there's no statistical significance beyond. But I think what we talk about is often what's going best for kids, and keeping that staffing every day, the continuity, hearing by the time they get to 3rd to 2nd, the social emotional, hearing the first grade teachers, hearing the kindergarten teachers. I think Steve and I, we didn't have a question of what we wanted to do. So
that's fine. I'm just letting you know.
I'm just reporting back as superintendent of the board of that's why the final recommendation is 3 teachers.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
I can see what your thought process is there. The consistency factor to me is just as much as part of the of kindergarten as anything, right? So this is where kindergarten is not only where you learn how to count to 10 or to know all your alphabet or whatever the standards are for that we hold them to. It's it's where they learn to walk in a single file line down the hallway. It's where they learn to hang their stuff up, and all that takes is routine and schedule and whatever. So I can see where you're.
So
where you're
11 to 1 is better than 8 to 1?
well, every other day. Every other
And
day.
we have our own case, we have our own case series at this place, going back 20 years. We have a decade of case series showing it was okay.
Well, but what you're doing there is you're still shorting the taxpayers' time in the classroom.
You're actually saving them $100,000.
Yeah, but you're shorting them half the days.
And you're saving them $100,000, so to make these moves and then we turn around in 2 years and ask for a levy?
I don't think that that's as important as getting the kids what they need.
And that's what I'm saying, we have a case series of decades before showing the kids were getting what they needed.
But as somebody who's pretty, I've been down this road personally in my own family, where, less time in the classroom for a child may not be the best thing for them if we're gonna hold them to the high standards that we hold them to. So that's.
I'm not saying they would not have, those who needed it would not have access to additional resources, or this is a generalized.
Yeah, no, listen, this is why we're here, right, to discuss this and hear out ideas and stuff, and I'm happy to, we can.
Yeah, I'm just saying you'd end up with you'd end up with a tighter teacher-to-student ratio.
But you would get half the time.
It might actually, so for kids that young, do you think having them cooked up all the time, all week long, versus a day to let steam off versus come back more focused the next day, or half days? And is there evidence to show that one is better than the other right now?
I was really glad that we actually brought this up and talked, and I, like the Dr. Zapolnik, went to the teachers, because I taught middle school. I don't know what it's like to be a kindergarten, first grade teacher. And the information he came back to the experts, the kindergarten, first grade teachers, I held their opinion and their voices high value of what they thought was best for their kids. I did appreciate what they had to say.
I don't discount that. I'm just saying we have a number of things to work.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
But
And these are compounding things as well for the children and for the district and for the financials. And for me, looking at the balance between the two and long-term outcomes for the kids as they move through the district compared to evidence-based, like I said, for me personally, like I said, I don't know if this is a vote, I don't know what we're doing, I'm just saying, it says consent item, so I'm saying mine is not consent. Now I realize that's the minority, so.
Yeah.
Well, I remember we did talk about this, it might have been a meeting that you had missed and we talked about it, and I thought it was interesting.
Then I apologize.
No, I'm glad you're here because you're bringing it up, and I kind of remember thinking, asking around just to people, as I'm around just talking to people, and my gut went, that won't fly. And that's it, just, it won't fly with the community. Be going half days.
Okay.
Or half days or every other day or something, and maybe that's something we need to consider, that because we've done it for so long and so many people are expecting their kids to go back to school full time when they get into kindergarten, maybe that's not the reason to just do it. Maybe we need to look more into it.
And is kindergarten a state requirement? Or is full-time kindergarten a state requirement?
Because there are schools in the area who do exactly what Jack is suggesting every other day, aren't there?
Most schools, the state of Ohio, when I last looked at the data, let's say there was 600, Rich can speak up, 630 out of school districts, I believe, when I looked at the data. 400 and some were every day, and there was only 100 or so, don't quote me on this, it's on the state website, that were every other, and of those, charter, like some, yeah, those are all factored in as well, so, yeah, when we kind of had this conversation with the K-1, it was like, this is the expectation now, it's the smell test,
That's kind of what I felt, is that is the expectations of us, is to do full-time.
And we do have early measures that went around 20 years ago, KRA data, early literacy data. There are some factors that we would have to go through and really scrutinize. Mr. Matus has been around since prior to and now after, and I don't know the data off the top of my head. Like I said, I'd have to report back to the board on some of that data. But I know on track versus off track is impacted by that kindergarten every day. I don't have that. Some of the nationwide data, some of the research that I found, it actually talks about, it's not it's actually comparing every other day versus half. Some of the studies don't indicate every day versus that half. So some of the data, some of the research is unclear at this time, which is why I said statistically significant. I can't say yes or no, because some of the research, quite frankly, hasn't been done nationwide.
What I looked at, it looked like as you went past 4th grade, that peak in everyday benefit leveled out.
It does. However, what's not factored into that is the K2 reading. I mean, the dyslexia screeners, some of these other pieces now that were not around 3 years ago, that are mandated by law. Again, that research and some of that, the line graph that we're describing, the cap off, that research was done, I believe, in 2017, 2018. I could go back, I'm combing my mind. So I just don't have, within the last 3 years, research to say yay or nay. And quite frankly, and I think Taylor was in the audience because I had a conversation with her at one point about this. The research hadn't been done. It's just simply inconclusive at this time. But I think hearing all of that and seeing the passion and seeing that the want was every day, especially from the experts themselves who have to do these things that we did not have to do 4 years ago. It was a no-brainer. Getting the kids here every day, getting them with our individuals was better than if they weren't here.
And the one teacher that reached out to me was very passionate about it, and she was explaining, like, okay, when it was half day, she's like, okay, you're working on writing your letters, and she's like, now the expectation for our district is these kids are not reading coming out. And she's like, I would not get them to that point. So, I mean, I don't know anything about teaching kindergarten or 1st grade. I taught older kids, so I'm not an expert in this. But I was just listening to what the teachers were telling me. And they were just worried about the expectations we have as a district and their fear of these kids would not be anywhere close to ready.
Okay.
So their fear is that they would struggle in 1st and 2nd grade had they only gone half the time.
And I don't want to speak for anyone.
Right, but that was your feeling.
Yes, they were scared, okay, now I'm passing on to these 1st grade teachers where their expectations are, I don't know. So,
Taylor, would you like to put your input as being a kindergarten teacher?
Absolutely. Thank you for giving me the chance to speak. I do understand concerns as community members, but as an educator and as a parent of a child in this district, when you look at the standards, which Principal Matus and I just talked about the draft of what the new standards are, they are changing. They are similar, but more rigorous, more specific. When you think about taking 5-year-olds, the age to enter into kindergarten is now lower and different, and thinking about attention and expectations and how to get these children to our high expectations and our standards that aren't just set by South Range, but are set by the state of Ohio. In order to do that, they need to be in the classroom for that amount of time in order to properly prepare them for the next grade. When I think about sending a struggling kindergartner or a strong kindergartner, it is not a discussion. They need to be in the classroom. There is research done. I read it consistently when I knew this conversation was coming up. And I think it's more than just a conversation about academics, which is important. And again, it doesn't account for some of these things as screeners. There is data to show that children that aren't in kindergarten full day, we have to spend more on remediation. They have more time in tutoring. That's a consideration to make also. But then there's also the social emotional aspect. Research shows that social emotionally, children who are in kindergarten full day fare better.
So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
I also read some of that research, but the argument was actually the half day was the best because it provided exactly what you're saying.
Actually, it's not, if you can wait till, I just pointed out because Taylor is one of the kindergarten teachers, but
Sorry.
you can talk it at the
You're okay. Go
public
ahead.
participation.
All right.
So with this item, do we want to move this item out of consent to regular superintendent agenda so Jack could vote, or so they all
No, you
can
can,
vote?
you can leave it, I mean,
It's not really, because he wants to two teachers, that's not on the motion, he's voting on whether to hire that
Okay.
person. So if you want to pull that person out to approve them separately, that
No,
would that would
because
be the motion.
it's gonna be a 4-1 right now, anyway,
Okay.
so just leave it.
Cool.
Okay,
That was, I think that was a healthy discussion, because it's been, you know, talked about before, but, you know, in a public setting where you were absent, so I appreciate bringing it up. I didn't even catch it, to be honest with you, but appreciate it.
Terry, can I just, 2 of my kids were the last kids that were here when it was still half day. And what they did back then, you could go all day. But I'm saying, they partnered with, they were still all day, you still got picked up, taken to school, but when it was your day off, I think they did like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday. But on your day off, they partnered with the churches who ran preschools, the teachers affiliated with our teachers, you know, for that, and that's how it worked out back then. Steve was in charge back then, I think.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore.
No, we don't have the.
That's not an option. And we also didn't have any curriculum back then. We didn't have Amplify Math, we didn't have Wonders Reading, we didn't have any of this stuff we have to do now, we didn't have to do back then. Our teachers made up everything back then. So everything our teachers, the mandated curriculum that the state is pushing down our throats to do now, we did not have to do back then. They are mandating you have to use this reading program, you have to use this math program. We did not have to do any of that back then. The teachers they created, Mrs. Masucci created materials to use in her centers to teach reading and to teach math that she just created to teach kids to learn to their numbers and their letters. It was all teacher created materials. Nothing was mandated by the state that we had to use. Now they're sending us lists of curriculum that we have to pick from to actually teach kids to learn math. And it is ridiculous what they have to do. And if we had to go every other day, you think of a kid that's a Tuesday, Thursday kid who's absent on a Thursday. So they only come Tuesday, they miss Thursday, they come one day a week and don't come back till the next Tuesday. What in the hell is that kid getting?
I would have to believe that a kid that's coming to school 2.5 days a week versus a kid that's coming to school 5 days a week, I would believe that in, say, September, there'd be a gap like this in their learning. But hopefully, by May, they've now closed that gap and this kid has caught up. No?
I can even speak on COVID. My kids were in COVID. It took till 4th grade to close that gap.
Yes, it's
Our
not.
kids who are here 5 days a week now, most of them aren't ready for 1st grade.
So Steve, why are you letting more open enrollment kids in next year? Why do you raise the limit then?
Consent agenda items,
So
please.
before we close that, just for clarification, from my perspective, that was not meant to discount the quality of our teachers. That was not meant to discount Mrs. Johnson's ability to do her job or anyone else or our new hires. I think they'd be fantastic. My perspective is what happens up here is it is our job to take all considerating factors in our community's ability to provide an education to our children and the capacity to do so both financially and the resources to manage for the children to the best of their ability. It's our job to look at all perspectives, okay, and see what has worked in the past compared to what the new requirements may be and see what best option may exist. And then we weigh our odds. So that was not meant to be an insult or anything, it's to breed discussion.
It's not for the hires, but it was from
It is,
us
but also,
going
yeah, I mean, my personal opinion, I appreciate all of it, it would stay the same. Again, it's not meant to be insulting, I'm not saying nobody's good at their job, I'm not saying any of that. It's to look at it in a bigger perspective from here, from what we may have to deal with in the future as things compile, okay? That is our job to look at. Okay? That's it.
All right,
Thanks,
thank you.
Thank you,
Anything
Doc.
else from the board or Dr. Bizzapoli? Okay. Motion to approve the consent agenda items.
I'll move.
Tyler moves. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Laura seconds. Go ahead and Yeah, roll call.
Tyler Bates,
Yes.
Laura Chidmark,
Yes.
Jack Dawson.
No.
Elizabeth
Well,
Johnson.
for that one item.
Yeah.
Everything else, yes.
Terry Lally.
Yes. Okay, pass. Treasurer, regular agenda items.
I'd like to pause there and have new people come up. They're not scary, I promise you, it's okay.
I promise I don't bite.
Please, coach, come on up. Just real quick, say hi, say who you are and what we're doing.
Just wanted everyone to see my face today. Anthony Naples, I've been here a long time. Some of you people know me, some don't. I want to thank the administration for the opportunity. I'm ready to get after it. So we're ready to go.
I'm excited for
And
it.
he will be the new girls basketball, high school
Yes.
basketball coach.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And Gianna and Katie, come on up, shake hands. Coach, come on up, shake hands.
You're Gianna? I'm Katie. I don't know Katie. I don't know you. Hi, to meet you. Hi, Katie. Yes, hi, nice to meet you.
Hi, are you like Liz?
Thank you. Hi, nice to meet you. Hi, nice to meet you. Wait, oh yeah, yes, and I graduated just a year after school. So I'm right now, your sister-in-law, we both went to school at Julie.
Well, Martin and my son Michael.
Oh, yeah, yes, we live next door to Herman's.
Yep. Thank you.
Not doing it wrong?
Now we can move on.
All right, Mr. Aaron.
The grants that the Dan Chris applied for the Kids Heart Challenge, so it's like a $500 grant. I don't exactly know what it all entailed when you paid for it, they'll purchase items for it. It's for $500.
Okay.
I'll move.
I figured.
Liz moves, second.
I'll second.
Laura seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, donations.
I just think everybody's donated, and then the last one, just 20 families and individuals donate to the Donnie Memorial Fund, so that might go towards whatever project they're working on.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. I'll move.
Has that project, like, are we involved in that at all, or, okay,
No.
okay, good, okay, thank you.
Okay, Tyler moves, second.
I'll second.
Liz seconds, all in favor? Okay, superintendent, regular agenda.
Yeah, this is just following the law for retiree hire. We had to do something in May, we have to do something in June, or, excuse me, April and May. Yep, that's what this, motion is.
For Sam Landry, I'll approve it, or I'll move.
And these were for,
Liz moves.
also for.
To adopt the policy.
For the
adopt
retiree
the
hire.
retiree
Yes.
hire. We have to have, what, 2 or 3 readings?
Yeah.
This
before-
is-
yes.
But this was just for Sam, 'cause
For Sam.
last month it was gonna be for Brenda, but she rescinded hers.
Yes, but where I was going with that is this is a specialty position where we do not have anybody that might be as qualified to, so as we do this would be a savings to the school district by
Correct.
doing the retire, and finding somebody with his ability to teach would be.
He's dynamic, phenomenal teacher. I hope I have his energy after 30-some years. But yeah, phenomenal teacher, almost irreplaceable with what he can do. And he wants to finish out for the kids, which is, I just can't thank him enough because he wants, French and German. He wants to finish those kids out. So I think it's
Okay, Laura moves,
I'll second.
Liz seconds, all in favor? Okay. School resource officer?
Yeah, this agreement permits a district to contract with Beaver PD for Dare, Hassie, Chief DeTillo is phenomenal. I mean, I can't say enough about our Beaver Police Department. Mr. Hassie, we talk all the time, phenomenal, love the kids. Just a little bit ago, he texted us before the meeting about, the construction and some ideas and moving forward. So just phenomenal. But this motion is to continue with that partnership for safety and security.
Okay, motion,
I'll move.
Liz moves,
I'll second.
Tyler seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Next is.
He's back.
He snuck in.
After a dance
Next is Mr. Huffman and the athletic performance that he's been serving, providing the district for several years now. So, athletic training.
Motion to approve, Liz moves,
I'll second.
Tyler seconds, all in favor?
Next is the April Business Advisory Council meeting minutes. If you have questions, let me know.
Motion to approve. Laura moves.
I'll second.
Tyler seconds. All in favor? And personnel.
Yeah, this motion is for a specific employee for summer transportation help. We had to take them out of the consent agenda.
I abstain from this vote. Motion to approve. Liz moves.
I'll second.
Tyler seconds. All in favor? Aye. All right, K2 marketing service.
Yeah, so this is a motion, couple years ago, the district, the Board of Education asked me for communication and collaboration and strategies, and they wanted tools to provide me with the strategy to have two-way communication, positive communication, simply because I couldn't do it all. I had no clue how algorithms and all the other aspects of curriculum and mapping it all out, how it worked. So my first year or so, I thought I could do it all. And then after hearing input from the board, they sat with me and they wanted me to consider going with a public relations firm. So I interviewed 3 different companies and really landed on local company that is just boots on the ground. I can't stress to you, from emergency management, crisis management, when we had some loss in February, you know, it's 4 a.m. on the phone, getting statements ready, get the media ready, you know, to be able to pick up the phone and to have people that can handle the media so we can work with our team to keep kids safe and to provide support for staff. Let alone the curriculum planning, let alone the pathways, the 13 different courses we created to communicate all of that out to the district as a whole. I am very, very happy with the service of K-Squared Marketing. You know, I looked at the dollars that were budgeted back when I first learned of this, and I learned back in 2019, you know, for that set amount, there were really only one means of that, and it was a newsletter that went out twice a year. We're getting about 6 to 8 different services with almost the same amount budgeted. And more of a personal and more of the relational piece, to have that boots on the ground, to have someone working with students, to doing video series, to the staff members, hearing what's going on in other districts, hearing, you know, because K-Squared is in, I believe, 9 other districts, I'm not sure, 8 or 9, and to say, hey, are they having these issues also? What strategy are they using I could bring back to the team? I can't say enough about K-Squared. So that motion is to meet our district Greater Way goals. The Board of Education asked me to continue to improve communication and collaboration, and the board said to me, we have to provide you with the tools so that you can get that job done. And with this amount, these are the tools that I would recommend. So I'm very satisfied. I've heard nothing but positives. Qualitative information back to me is positive. The quantitative, the Facebook increases and the 60% increases of engagement and so forth, proved enough for me to put this recommendation. And it's not long-term, it's year to year. As we know, enrollment in curriculum, CTE, workforce development, military. I mean, I met with them about a month ago and said, hey, I really want us to pivot for middle school and high school, STEM, STEAM, Brooke Stewart's gonna do something. I'm on it, Jared. I already got, you know, my ideas of what we're gonna do moving forward. So with all that information, I tried to put it in two sentences maybe, and simply say that they not only meet our district way of communicating and collaborating, but they go above and beyond, especially when the 2 other companies I interviewed, because I was completely against this 2 years ago. They proved their worth to me. And if you guys know me, that you have to have a lot of evidence to really convince me, and they have done it.
Yeah, I was actually shocked that in 2019 that we were spending the amount of money on 2 mailers that we're spending now on K-Squared. Like, it was literally like, oh my gosh, we were spending that money on 2 mailers that people read and then threw away. I think we're getting a lot more value out of that money than the 2 mailers.
So what I've noticed too with the, I mean, I was part of the conversations where we got feedback from the community of maybe some communication that could have been handled better, or maybe some crisis management. And we went through and we had those hard conversations and decided that, you know, what was that, 3 years ago or whatever, 2.5 years ago now, where, you know, it might be time to look outside somebody who's professional in that, you know, and that's their universe, right? And by them pumping out the vision of the district, I think it's building a positive, you know, picture of this place. You know, we're getting to highlight teachers, we're getting to highlight students, we're getting to highlight the good things we're doing here by putting out maybe career-based education or whatever the case is. Like, it's just everywhere. Everything from security to, you know, school nurse recognition to whatever. It's just the things that you wouldn't be able to do and be the CEO of this district, right? So you can't do it all. And by giving you a tool to utilize that, I think it better services the community and taxpayers by letting them know what exactly is happening in the school district. And also, from my understanding, this has been, even though it's year to year, this won't affect the forecast going forward because it's already assumed currently, correct?
It is forecasted.
It is forecasted. So that's just kind of where I stand, and the fact that we live in this world of communication and, you know, social media, and that's the way everybody gets their news. It's no longer that newsletter everybody just chucks, but I think we would be behind the times if, especially looking at other schools, not to compare South Range to other schools, but you know, they found the value in it also with the changing environment we're in currently in our society. So that's just my opinion. So,
any other opinions?
I know, like a few years ago, like that's our community service and everything, it was communication, and that's why we as a board said we have to set this as our standard. Like, we decided as a group.
I think K-Squared has done a great job. However, I'm looking at the $25,000, and I feel at this point we really need to look at how we're spending. Just like we just have the big project out front with the pavement, and I feel like there's other things that the teachers need as opposed to put it in marketing. So I am going to vote no on this. I mean, I think Colin has done, and her team has done a wonderful job. I would like to look at it next year and consider it, doing it again, you know, maybe doing it again. But right now, I'm leery on what's going to be happening on the government and the policy level with the legislation.
We just need to figure out then, like, if we're getting rid of communication with the community, like.
which the legislation is part of the communication. And if we aren't up to speed and up to snuff on communicating exactly what's happening in the legislature, then, you know, and then it's put on Jared or somebody else in the system to, there's no free lunch. Okay, so somebody's got to do it. It's going to be a cost to the school no matter what. Hiring a professional may be more effective. That's where I'm looking at it. And should this fail, it would be unjust to Jared to take a tool out of his toolbox and hold him to the same expectations that we had set for him previously. That's my opinion. So, I mean, 25 grand, yeah, I get it. And things are tight, I get it. But at 0.2% or less than 0.2% of the budget of our annual, you know, expenditure, I don't know, that's the face and the communication that we get out to the community. So.
I look at us as stewards of the taxpayer money. And the purpose of this building is to educate the students. And if I see we are spending for something that is not directly educating our students, it's hard for me to say yes. I'm not seeing the education to the students here as that's where I am with that. I don't see it as a benefit to the students. I see it as a benefit to the board and administration. Our taxpayers aren't here to make our life easier. We are supposed to be spending their money educating the students of the district.
I hear you, but how, like, I'm like, how are we gonna fix this? Because the taxpayer, like, when we did the community survey, they're like, we want communication, there's not enough communication. I was at a meeting just the other night, and they're like, more communication, like, we need to make sure. So, how are we gonna do that? Like, so they're like, well, I didn't hear about the band concert, and I didn't hear, like, so we're telling, like, we're not gonna be posting on, I don't go on Facebook anyways, but we're not going on Facebook, that's gone.
Well, in January, we sat here and created liaison positions. Those positions are supposed to tie those outside communities or committees with the board and administration. I feel like if there's something going on here in the board, and I feel like as the middle school, elementary school PTO liaison, if there's things going on, I report that to our PTO and they put it out. Our middle school PTO, they put it out. Our high school PTO, they put it out. I don't see why we can't. Jared puts out text messages. We can still put out Facebook posts. We have, and I know I talked to Jared about this. He's adamant no on it, and it's fine, but I'm gonna say it anyway. We have new electives coming up next year with digital media and journalism and such. So I'm wondering why we can't utilize students and teachers in our own building who might.
As a teacher, I would not want that bullseye on me. Like, I miss.
But we may have one who wants to do it.
I think that's a liability.
Yeah, but that's.
On some of, too,
It's
I
a
think that
child.
some
I'm
of
not
the
putting it on a
teachers,
child.
some of the information shouldn't be handled by teachers and students.
No, there's private information and there's.
Terry, for what it's worth, I get no communication from the district anymore. Since Ricky graduated in 2020, I get zilch from you guys. So K2 or no K2, I get no communication at all. Just for what it's worth.
So I
Jack,
know what
do
you're
you have
saying
these?
about the.
Go ahead.
I was just, so the PTO, okay, yeah, they have their own Facebook groups or whatever, for whatever, but Officer Hassey doesn't have a Facebook group or whatever, if there's something safety related or a coordination, this is more than just a Facebook posting and stuff like that. This is
Well, that's all I see. And when I talk to people in the communities, that's all they see is a Facebook post. And we did have a Facebook post where we had some snafu here in the building.
This is crisis management. This is all stuff that, there's been, statements made in the paper. I get weary about holding, like, our job as a board is to, hire and maintain administration with Jared and Mario and let them do their jobs. We have to give them the tools to do so. And we set a standard and a parameter around what we expect. And if we start eliminating the tools in the box, then we need to reevaluate what we're doing. Or reevaluate the review process or the standards that we're being held to. Because regardless, there's no free lunch. All this stuff still needs to be communicated. It's gonna fall on the backs on somebody else. And I
wonder
it's
if,
a healthy conversation.
I agree. And I wonder if there is a situation where I could see that there might be crisis management where we might need something and Jared's dealing with the crisis itself and he doesn't have time to get information out there. Is there an opportunity, rather than this contract, the way that it is currently written, to have maybe a smaller retainer service fee and in the event that we need them to push out something that could be crisis management, that then we pay them a service above and beyond that, and not be paying
Per diem?
$25,000
Per
back.
diem rate.
Yes, yes. Having a retainer
Yeah,
and
I
not a
mean,
per diem.
That's beneficial to our end. I don't know if it's always beneficial to the business entity's end.
I'm not worried about their business and I'm worried about our
I
end.
know, and I think they do a fantastic job. I think it is a valuable service. I'm not discounting any of that, and I think the people who run it are wonderful people, and I think it is a tool that offers Jared the ability to do things more swiftly and potentially slightly more effectively. I'm not saying we don't need more communication and we need to figure out a way to do it. I just told you guys how I felt about hiring a teacher, so I struggle very much then to turn around and say I'm willing to spend this on a non-educational factor. I realize it's 2.25 whatever percent of the budget, but it doesn't mean it can't be allocated somewhere else. So I mean I can't turn around and say I was struggling to justify that motion beforehand and then do this. Like that just, it has nothing to do with the people who do the job. They're fantastic at it, and I do think it is a valuable service, but I agree that I think if it was a lower number or a different way we could finance it to fit the most needed factors for the crisis management and other things to be in line, that'd be awesome to see, but I'm not gonna expect somebody to do something that's not financially savvy for their business either.
Right.
It's, yeah.
And this is difficult because I think there's a lot of people in the district who know K-Squared Marketing personally, and they're both very nice women. So it is very hard, but in the eyes of being a steward to the taxpayers, I don't think it's a good idea right now.
We just need to come up with a plan, because having gone through district issues, like in trying to have the superintendent people handle things, and then people were mad at how we handled things, and like since we've been using them, it's gone smooth, like everything's been communicated. Just what's our plan? Like what?
We'll have to come up
Who's this
with a
being
plan.
dumped on?
But I think
you
no
can't
matter-
put it on a union person.
I think no matter how much communication we get, someone is always going to bitch and complain. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, no matter what we do, it's never good enough. I mean, Jared puts out the reminders in the text, in the one calls, and you still have someone criticizing how something was done. So it's,
So on that though, the last thing I would do is Jared gets paid to handle the criticisms. A teacher or a media high school class does not, and that you cannot. I appreciate the idea, but I'm against.
No, and that's fine. I clearly need to be educated on that, not, you know, and I know Jared spoke on it too, and it's fine. I still wanted to say it because I know as I'm out there, people were asking, why aren't we doing this? Well, I'll bring it to Jared and ask him, and he in a roundabout way tried to answer the question. I didn't get it. I still wasn't buying it. That's okay. I'm a hard sell. So I think that is a conversation that we could move forward with, that maybe we need, maybe not this is meeting our needs. Maybe there's a way to massage this a little bit so that it does meet our needs.
So whoever takes on this responsibility, should or shouldn't they get a pay increase?
I don't think they expect a pay increase.
I'm calling some bull crap. So I would not want to, if I was sitting in that shoe, whoever agrees to take on this and not to, as a responsibility. and
Well,
not
no,
ask
let
for
me
pay raises.
rephrase that. Not all of the things that are done. The Facebook posts. I know, I'm fairly sure that the Facebook posts could be handled in-house with our staff. Not crisis management, of course not. Not other things that they're doing, but that's,
You yourself have seen and commented on how many things have been, you know, I know most of the things are positive and there's usually no, well, all of the, we do mostly highlights and stuff like that, but the comments, if somebody words something wrong or says something the wrong way, it's just I think that would be a big risk, and if I was sitting on the other side of the table, I would not accept that deal for not pay increase. So there you start chewing into the 25 grand.
I'm still like, wait, we spent $25,000 on 2 mailers. Like, I'm like, that, like.
Is there a,
So I agree, Liz, like,
Like, that's
you
makes it crazy.
can't take 20,000, let's just make the numbers easy, right? What I saw when we looked at the historical spending was, I saw 1 year was basically $100, and I saw 1 year that was 20,000, right? What we're sitting here saying is this is 25, they offer a ton more services, right?
Yeah.
There's gotta be a middle option. There's gotta be some option where it's like, these are the exact services we need at X rate, you know, if that means we renegotiate some, you know, again, I go back to, I'm thrilled with the people who do this to renegotiate a different style contract. If they say no thank you, whatever, or we look somewhere else, we can do that, right? I agree, nobody should do this for nothing. I agree that we need to have some communication. It shouldn't be the $100 category, nor should it be $20,000 for a bunch of wonderful services, but maybe not all of them need to be super critical. If we're looking at 2 of those wonderful services, is there an option somewhere in the middle, a little more financially sound for us? And I realize it is a small number, but I think $15,000 this year and say, these are resources teachers can use for X STED needs of a student. Like that is also useful. We're potentially solving 2 problems. I don't believe that, for me, saying that this specific outline contract at this moment means we have nothing or we have everything, right?
I'm just grateful.
There's a way to find the middle.
Who's gonna handle some, like,
I'm just saying for this moment, for what we're voting on, what we are looking at in the face right now,
I
is
just want
presented
to
in
be
front of us.
outlined
Yeah.
in this
what is
contract.
the plan?
I would like to see if we could, like Jack said, come like an in-between of those, because not needing all like the Facebook posts and this, but have them do like the crisis management and the public relations as opposed to.
But to be clear, Terry, said entity they reserve the right to say like, hey, we're not gonna do that. And then we have to go find something else, like, or continue to work it out, right? Like those are gonna be future discussions going from her. And we haven't voted on this yet. I'm just saying, like, we're talking it out now, we're trying to figure it out. I'm just letting you know my thoughts, right? I don't think it's, like I said, I don't think the $100 nothing is the answer. And we are kind of all saying, like, there may be some things in the $20,000 up range that are not exactly needed critical services, and then there are some in there that are absolutely critical. So how do we pay for the critical services?
We're looking for something in between.
And I just get worried. Okay, so we set the standard. Now we're relapsing back on more to where we were starting to get, and that's what I have a hard time. Is going maybe backwards, getting, you know, in my opinion. But I mean, is there a way where we possibly, I don't know, I don't think tabling is the issue or thing, but postpone this vote until we maybe seek out, is this something that
Well, I believe we have it until June, correct?
So
we
the
have it
current
for-
contract, so
current contract
if the
for
board
June.
votes on this, it would be for next year's contract. But that wouldn't stop Caseword or others putting on different contracts if, like
And
Jack said.
saying they're at capacity.
This is just for the one that we all saw in your
Yeah, this is for
confidential.
the contract as it is
As it
written.
is right now.
So my question would be, would this be something, Liz, this might be a question for you, where I know the foundation had talked about newsletters and stuff before. Is this something that they might be interested in helping out with, spreading the good news about the district, or is this something that they might possibly be interested in, or
I have no idea.
or is there
Or splitting with us, or something like that.
I think first, I think
You have to bring it to the I'm like,
before you went to them with any meeting, any negotiation, we need to have objectives in mind. So what are our most critical needs before we even enter X request? Like, that is something where I would say, Jared, if there are 8 points, right, and you say 1, 2, and 3 are a must, then we say, how do we achieve 1, 2, and 3 at X rate? All right. If everything else can be dropped, we drop it. All right. That is what we need to figure out first, is most important. If we're saying within the 8 points, these really don't matter, why are not matter, but
I know you
why do we need, why are we paying for these, right? Is this just to essentially allow us to keep it up? Maybe, but also it's a business model, right? But before we do anything else, if this is gone for next year, before we enter into a negotiation for another opportunity like this, we need to know what is most critical needs for your toolbox, right?
So the only thing we're voting on is the current
Yes.
contract for next year as it is right now.
Yes.
So if we could work with K Square to come up with the essentials that you are looking for at a different price, then I believe.
Yeah, I'm just also putting out there, and I don't know how else to say this, but again, business entity could say, go pound salt. So that is also something that needs to be in our head as well. So, I'm not saying it changes anybody's mind or how they feel, but also having done different negotiations, don't just expect to be able to walk right back in the door. And I would not be mad at anybody for that either.
All right, any other discussion? Motion to approve the next year's agreement with K Square. Liz moves,
And I'll second.
Tyler seconds, roll call.
Elizabeth Johnson?
Yes.
Tyler Bates? Yes. Maura Chitmar?
No.
Jack Dawson?
For the current setting of contract now, no.
Terry Lally?
I'm with Jack with the current contract, no, but I would like to see what we can come up with. All right. Public participation. Ma'am, I'm sorry, I'm gonna let you go first if you have anything to say.
I didn't.
The moment kind of passed.
Yeah, normally I don't let this happen, but we have a lot of conversation and input, so I wanted to give you your opportunity. Okay.
No, I'm okay. Thank you.
Yes.
I would just like to speak to kindergarten as a whole. I think.
Okay, first state your name or where you're from.
Okay, so I'm Katie McMurray. I currently teach kindergarten at South Range here. Next year I'll be teaching 2nd grade. I think kindergarten is a grade level that a lot of people don't quite understand. They have a view of kindergarten maybe from when they were children or when their kids were in school. But it is a very unique grade, and I think that maybe for people to understand it better, I know I'm only there for a couple more weeks, but if anyone who just wants to understand kindergarten better would like to come into a room, I would like to invite you in. I would love to go through the science of reading with you and go through the process of where we start our children and where we take them throughout the year. It's not necessarily something that people understand just from, hearing about kindergarten. But by the end of the year, our children are reading. They are writing sentences. They're writing multiple sentences in one sitting. And we also have a packed full day that takes an entire day. And maybe I shouldn't say this in front of my 2 bosses, but I can't even make it through my standard course of study by teaching hard every single day throughout my entire day. There are science standards that I'm trying to pack in right now. We're trying to get through our social studies mapping unit before that last day hits. Our math is going every single day through our Amplify program, which I would also love for all of you to look at our NWEA MAP scores and see the progress that we have made with these children. Come in and listen to them read, please. It doesn't happen overnight. We are teaching the social emotional pieces, but we also are preparing them for next school year. And our kids would be significantly behind if we were not teaching them in this very systematic, research-based way. And like I said, I would love to invite people in. I know I'm not there much longer. But kindergarten has my heart, my whole heart, and I respect every person who walks in to do that job because it is the hardest job. The lower the grade, the harder the job, and I've taught K-5. So, you know, if any of you have time in that time frame, I would love for you to come in so that you could better understand. And I would love to give up my lunch, my planning period, to kind of go through our curriculum with you. So, thank you.
Ms. Smith.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I agree. I think kindergarten's probably, that sets the foundation. It's the most important. It's why we should have no more carpetbagging open enrollment students in kindergarten next year. And they've made the case. Steve made the case. She made the case. There's plenty of work to do. They don't need more kids thrown in the mix. Jack, thank you for representing the taxpayer tonight. I appreciate it. The thing that I wanted to talk about in this session was, I don't know if any of you saw, Princeton has actually revoked the gentleman's agreement they had where you could self-proctor a test because there's so much cheating. Talking to a parent recently, and I've got a bunch of young techs that go to YSU that are pre-med, 3 of them are pre-med. There's rampant cheating in the back med program there. I mean, they've actually caught 20, 30 kids, and these are kids that are preliminary accepted into med school that are cheating to get through YSU to keep their grades up. It's out of control. I know with ChatGPT, you know, these kids aren't writing English papers anymore in high school. They're just running it through ChatGPT. I think we should really look, and I think a lot of this goes back to COVID. You know, they learned how to cheat and they're just going to keep on doing it. We need to strengthen our code of conduct in that area, I think, so that if you are caught cheating, there's got to be severe repercussions for it. And I would think that would include, and this will get fought like crazy, if you're caught cheating and you're in an athletic program, you're done for that athletic program for that 9 weeks. I think it has to be that severe because it's getting to be bad. When you're seeing it advance to college, you can't have somebody trying to become Dr. Dawson who's going to cheat their way through and get through it and then come out and start practicing and have no idea what they're doing. And I'm seeing that. I'm seeing kids come out of pharmacy school that are completely and totally unqualified. I don't think he's seeing it yet to that degree, but it's an issue that needs dealt with, and I would encourage you to look at strengthening the code of conduct so that it would be severely dealt with.
Thank you, Rich. Yes.
Taylor Johnson, I teach kindergarten here. As I stand behind 2 of my soon-to-be colleagues and my current colleague, I just feel I need to say, saying get better every day is true. I believe at South Range we do. I'm very proud to send my daughter here to live in this district, to work in this district. It is a dream school, and I think it is a dream for a lot of parents to send their kids here, in district and out of district. I don't want to play the comparison game, but when we talk about half day or every other day, and what standard we would be setting for their education, their consistency, which is very important, routine, and the standard that we hold them to, find a district around here that has scores, a community, activities inside, outside of school that do a half-day program. I'm very proud of what we produce here in children as community members, children as leaders. Your children that go here make very good names for themselves, and I'm very proud to work at a school with children that have names that come from that. And also our test scores, I'm very proud of that because the children work hard because of the work they put in, the work we put in, the work their parents in the community put in. So I just want to say, I know that that's something that we're considering, but find a district around here that compares to us that does half day. It just does not exist. Thank you.
Anyone else? I just want to, first, before, not agenda items, this Sunday is commencement, so congratulations to all the 2026 graduates for Sunday. And I wanted to let you know, so everybody saw that construction out there. We were told last week that due to the weather and the supplies and the delays and other construction needs, that the construction company needed to start this past Monday. So we apologize for not giving everybody a heads up, but I believe Dr. Zapolnik did put an all call out for everybody, so there's reasons why that they had to start this past Monday. Anything else? And you already did my shout out for the test scores, which I was gonna say, but any other thoughts, comments? All right.
Commencement, you talked, yes, I did that text message about the communication of the parking lot. That's the pre-work.
Phase one.
So phase one, and then next week, there's nothing going on, getting kids and people out of here, and then the paving is no, like actual work will
Oh,
happen.
wait, no.
Nope.
Did that change?
Just,
Did that change?
just so we're clear.
Okay.
This is pre-work here.
Uh-huh.
Next week, they're gonna be on the elementary side.
For the pre-work.
Pre-work, yes, still
But then
pre-work.
last
There's
week
drainage
school-
on the elementary side.
Yeah,
Just
last
to make
week
sure
of
we're-
school,
We're gonna commit, yeah, last week of school, they should be, if everything goes as planned, and again, it's hard to put dates on this.
It always does.
But one thing we don't wanna run into is, we
They
don't wanna run into mid-July, and we got the band camp, we have football practice, we got a full parking lot. This place fills up, so it's our hope that,
Well, plus you figure rain delays, well.
yeah,
my husband
everything,
does construction.
everything. You don't
I was
realize
in
the summer
construction. Yes.
is like that, so, and we'll try our best. But sometimes, you gotta turn too, you gotta pivot, because you don't have a lot of notice, and hey, we're gonna do this now, and all of a sudden, well, that wasn't planned for, but, if it moves the project along, we're gonna try our best.
So is your ultimate goal, the weather's nice and we get lovely northeastern Ohio weather, are you guys hoping to have them done by like mid-July? Is that your goal?
I don't, even though I'm affiliated with the company doing the work.
You're not involved in this project?
I refuse myself completely.
I'm pressing for a month when they start paving, but
Okay.
that is maybe not realistic.
Okay, that's okay.
But I'm pressing, because we want them to
Okay,
get in and get out.
fair enough. If people
Yeah.
ask, we can tell them we're hoping to be done, but weather pending.
and then last but not least, so the June board meeting, traditionally, we look at the day and the time specifically because of a lot going on in June at that time. So between now and then, I think, Terry, if you want to call the board and see days and times, and then
the same for those for Sam.
Yes, we can't change
Oh,
June
because of the
17th because of
never mind.
Yeah, we have.
I might not be here.
Okay. I think as long as we have.
That was for the resolution that we,
Yeah.
it was a 60-day time that's already had on
Good
there.
point.
So we can't bump it up, it has to be.
Yeah.
Has to be
We'd
that
have to check
time.
with the attorney about lower timelines and notifying, I don't know the rules. We'd have to check
Okay.
on that.
Well, if you could check on that, just,
Okay.
so we know. If not, then.
As of right now, we have to state this, because
And
that's
as
what
long
the
as I know-
resolution stated.
Yeah.
I'm looking at June 25th, 26th, let me know you guys' times, I like at least have 4 board members for the fiscal year meeting, but
Oh, you're anxious.
Okay.
just to close up the year, start the new year.
24th and 20.
Do you know what these are?
24th.
Thursday, Friday. Or if you can't do those, it'd have to be that Monday, Tuesday, which is 29th and 30th.
Did you say 26?
25th or 26th.
And we usually do it first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever time.
Okay.
This is 30th, would have to be the first day.
Okay.
Preferably the 25th and 26th.
June 29th, 30th, or 25th, 26th.
While we're on other matters, I'd like to ask Dean, I forgot to ask you, are we all clear, all good with the well? Any issues, any further?
We're still waiting, and I got a little information from the health department, because they do biannual inspections here, that they received a letter, so any day now I should receive a letter from the EPA telling us where they're at in the process, whether or not we need to add treatment, because that could be a possibility depending on their chemical analysis of the well. But the well itself tested good, the pressure tested good. Now it's going to go into the planning phase of how they connect it to the system. So we're still in waiting. I would expect to get something within a week, though, being that they were already emailed a letter. But I did not see the contents of that letter, because that was to the health department, not to me.
Anything else? All right.
Great.
Motion to approve adjournment.
Okay.
Laura, motions. Do I have a second?
Second.
Jack seconds. Time is
8.
7:49.